Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Monday afternoon, July 20th, and we're looking at the last 2 days of the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And my goodness, if you didn't fall asleep, the bulls did a phenomenal job today. Unlike Friday, I did not get stubborn and do some silly things like I did in J, K, and L. I stayed out of the way. Now, I didn't go long, because I thought the risk for getting long, each time frame got more and more as the tempo was just horrible. However, I didn't short it. And I am not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed. No trade is a trade also. So if I'm not comfortable being long because I think the tempo, the volume is horrible, so be it. Better than being short. I mean, we had ranges of 20-something cents in, I believe, J and K period. There was just nothing happening. Yes, we exploded. I mean, the buyers have a ton to lean on going into tomorrow. The volume, horrendous again, 51 million. We'll be lucky to do 55 million with the after hours. We keep getting lowered. It's down to, I believe, 82 million. We can't even come close to it. However, trend day up, price spike, price probe, above the 8-week balance. Wow, you know I say this many times. One day doesn't make a market, but for now, the bulls are king of the hill. Right? I still think we're going to need some better tempo and volume to get to the highs, especially with that huge gap looming above us. But for now, you can't take it away from what the bulls did today. As far as my trading, I did not make a trade after I period. We opened in balance, in value. Right? Worst of your risk rewards. I said I would take a trade up around the price probe where it failed from Friday. And that's exactly what I did. I took a short up there, which turned out to be a nice one, and took it back down. We got through the opening 2 time frames. However, never saw it again after B. In B period when we went down, I actually took a long against. We were trading between the afternoon pullback low and value low. Took a long there. That one worked out. Now, you know what? I did write down actually the strikes I played because people asked me. So that first put play was a 323 put. I traded today's spike, today's expiration. So that A short was a 323 put that expired today. The call was a 321 call. In fact, every trade I did today was either the 321 call or the 323 put that expired today, except the last one I took, which I'll talk to you about. C period started. We had single prints. I did take a call play. 321 call. Wrote it up. But again, once we weren't getting anything for our money at the time, right? We're getting to the top of a 8-week balance high, so I took it off, but I made money on it. D period goes and takes out C's low. I take a short. I'm like, all right, these singles are going to fill. We're going to methodically grind our way up. Well, that didn't happen. Got out of that for basically scratch in D. E period goes up. Can't get the monthly high. So F comes. F takes out E's low. And I said one of 2 things is going to happen in F period. We're either going to rip and fill those single prints, and then I look for an afternoon pullback, or it's going to become our afternoon pullback. Well, I took a short, so I was certainly hoping it was the former, not the latter, because that's exactly what it turned out to be. I made money on some, and then when it back up, took the rest off, lost small on that. So it did turn out to be our afternoon pullback low. Between the lack of volume, the horrendous tempo, I thought for sure the odds of these singles holding were not good, with D doing it and then F coming down. And guess what? I was wrong on both. We end up only 6 wide on the POC, or 5 wide on the POC, which got raised. And then my last trade of the day was in I. So again, we ripped higher this time, came back, I took a small short. Those I did the 324s on, didn't like. Actually, I'm sorry, I took it before we took out our H's high. Took it, was wanting to see if we were going to come back, maybe take out H's low. Didn't happen. Took out H's high. I got out, and that was it. Easy to sit here and say, well, you're out of your mind. How are you not long this entire day? True, when you look at it. However, when you're playing it live and looking at it live and seeing 23-cent ranges and no tempo, no nothing, yeah, I could have leaned against single prints a bunch of times. But again, you have to know yourself better than anything, right? Those are the three things. Yourself, the product, and your competition. Well, I knew myself and I wasn't comfortable because I thought each new high was bringing the buyers to more and more danger because there was no tempo, no volume, no nothing. Didn't get hurt either, though. So I watched it. I have no problem doing that. And then I'm ripped, price probe, using I as a price spike. I'm happy with what I did today based on how I felt the day was moving. Okay, let's go over destinations. So for tomorrow, 325.13 is our first destination to the upside. Then we have 325.21, afternoon rally high from February 24th. So 5 months later, we're finally getting back to this level. Above that, we have 325.85, which is a weekly high, and then that tremendous gap at 332.58, 673-point gap from February 24th. That gap will not get filled the first time there with this type of tempo. That you could basically take to the bank. So unless something becomes a catalyst, we will not fill that gap the first time in there. Remember the last huge upside gap we had? And I'll show you on the charts when we get to it. It took like 4 or 5 times. Well, we'll see if that's going to be the same thing. Now, downside destinations. And let me tell you, there are a tremendous amount of things to lean on for the buyers. Okay? Now, we closed at 324.32, but I've told you many times, the price probe, we don't know if it's accepted or rejected to A period the next day. So that is L's high, 324.59. Okay? Then we have our first set of single prints. They start at 324.28 and get filled at 323.98, K's high. Then we have the price spike. That's I's high of 323.81, and I'm using that because anytime J, K, and L make a new high or low, and then we really don't come back into it, we spiked from there. We probed from here. We spiked from here. Yes, we got into a little bit in L, but barely. I'm using it. 323.81. Then we have our second set of single prints. 323.51 get filled at 323.32. H is high. Then I have one tick. Now the ES does not have this one. 323.14. That's another one tick of single print. Then we have our afternoon pullback low, F's low of 322.46. And then our first set of single prints, we had 322.32. D's low get filled at A's high of 322.14. And then today's low of 320.62. So the buyers have many things to fall back on where there were buyers today, right? These are intraday gaps, those single prints. And the price probe, price spike. We're going to see. Now, remember, we closed above last year's settlement on Friday, 321.86. We're above it by $2.50. We're only above the 8-week balance right now by under $1. So it's only Monday. Have to keep that in mind. Now, let's go to the charts because some things have definitely changed. This is the first time in a while that all 3 time frames in the SPY are up. I'd have to go back to see when that happened last. Right now, monthly, we are not only up, we're now one time framing up 3 months since we took out last month's high, and we're above it. Remember we talked about the inside month in April and how powerful they can be? Well, the high of that month, we rounded out to 295. We got up to 325 today. Right? $30 to the upside from our inside month. Powerful stuff. One time framing up 3 months. Weekly. As of now, we are above an 8-week balance. Are we only stretching it? Well, it's only Monday. We're going to see. But right now, as long as we stay above 323.41, next stop is this week high, and then that slow grind into that huge gap. Weekly is up for now. And then the daily. 3-day balance, whatever kind of balance you want to call it, we're above all of it right now as we close at 324.32. We're above, right, the 323.41 balance high. Here's the gap I'm talking about. That was a huge gap, right? That gap happened on June 11th. Huge. We ate into it how many times? Look at all these days until we finally closed it. Well, again, unless we get better tempo and more a different time frame, in a longer time frame, this is not going to be easy to fill the first time there. Had a decent day today in the trading room. Again, most of my money was made in A and B period. I lost small, made small after that, didn't make a trade after I. Sometimes no trade is the best trade of all. You don't want to get chopped up if you don't want to get involved on the side that the trend is doing. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.